Unexpected, unwanted, and unplanned commentary. Those 7 words you can't say on radio. Another similar incident happened years later with a slightly different outcome, and at a time when I was now the program director of WAMU-FM. Dave Hubley was a protege of Chief Engineer Dave Garner and was supplementing his part-time income by being a board op in the evenings. This particular evening was the night of President Richard Nixon's famous "I am not a crook" speech, denying his involvement or knowledge of the Watergate break-in. Earlier in the day, Dave had assisted Dave Garner in reconfiguring some of the input selectors associated with the POTS, or potentiometers, or volume controls, if you will, on the master control audio console. However, Hubley apparently had forgotten about the changes they had made earlier in the day, including changing the assignment of the control room's microphone. News producer Craig Oliver and I were listening to Nixon's speech from our living room on Van Ness Street, just a couple of blocks from the station. We always marveled that we could watch from our kitchen or dining room window as lightning would strike WAMU-FM's 500-foot-high broadcast tower. We were listening to Nixon's denial, together with the network lead-in, etc. Now from the White House, President Nixon. Nixon went on with the talk and everything seemed fine. Then, as soon as it was over, there was a moment of silence, rather than some network follow-up commentary or, as we would say, outro. The next thing Craig and I heard was Dave Hubley's voice. "Holy shit, what's going on? This is bullshit. Damn, where's the audio?" More dead air. Craig and I looked at each other in disbelief. Dave Hubley had obviously flipped one of the input selectors and, not remembering they had reconfigured them earlier in the day, inadvertently opened the control room microphone thinking it was a pre-recorded cart machine. Of course, when he did so, the control room speakers muted or shut off to prevent feedback from the open mic, and to him it appeared there was no audio, just dead air. Board ops in those days weren't used to wearing headphones, but just relied on the speakers mounted above the console to monitor the station. I hurriedly dialed the direct line into master control. We could hear the telephone ringing in the background over the air. Hubley answered the phone, and I could hear his voice both on my telephone and over the speakers of our stereo in our living room. I said, Dave, don't say a word, but your control room mic is open." "Holy shit," he yells in response and snaps shut the microphone input lever. A moment later, normalcy resumed with a station ID, promo, and the "We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress" announcement. Dave, of course, was mortified. I reassured him, saying to not worry about it, we'd deal with any fallout the next day, etc. The following day, poor Dave Hubley was prepared to turn in his resignation. 4-letter words over a 50,000-watt FM radio station were more frowned upon in those days than they are today. But as it turned out, now as program director, I only received one telephone call from a guy who said he was driving home from work, was listening to the speech of Nixon on WAMU-FM, heard the string of expletives following the speech, and nearly drove off the 14th Street bridge, he was laughing so hard. He said, "It was the best political commentary I've ever heard following a Nixon speech. I hope the guy doesn't get fired." Nothing more was ever said of the incident, though I think we wrote a memo to include in our FCC file to document it. Of course, while nothing more was said of the incident, we never missed an opportunity to tease Dave Hubley about the night he made his on-air commentator debut.